And good evening to you. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is Kunle Ologe, Marriage Counsellor, founder of the Marriage Academy, and you're welcome to this Q&A session for this particular day. We chose this day to answer your questions. Like I was saying to those of you who are in the group, there were so many questions bombarded and decided that we will just have this one-off Q&A session to combat those questions as much as we can combat them and give you answers that at least will give you some options. Now, it's possible we may not be able to give you the detailed answers, but we'll give you something for you to have a direction. And so I'm so glad that you are all here joining me, and I can see so many of you. Good evening to you. Please confirm to me, those of you who can hear me, confirm to me that you can hear me loud and clear. And you can see me also loud and clear. Can I have that confirmation that you can see and that you can hear me loud and clear? Yes, I'm waiting for that confirmation. And I see you, Goodness. I see you, Laura. Goodness was the first to be here. And I'm so excited to have you here. I see you, Kingdom Lifestyle with Gift. Gift, I see you. I see you, Reina, a true conclavite. I see you, Goodness. And you can see and you can hear me. Now, this is one thing you need to do. Remember what I always say. If your neighbor's marriage is bad, then your own is at risk. If your neighbor's marriage is bad, your own marriage is at risk. And so we're going to start off immediately because we really don't have time. We have just an hour, 30 minutes to do this, and we're going to do it as fast as possible. So I know some of you already sent your questions in, and those questions will be coming up in the comment section now. I'm sure my team have the questions ready. So they'll be coming up in the comment section. And as they come up in the comment section, we will be answering them right here and now. So team, please begin to put the questions there in the comment section so that we can see those questions. Just put them in the comment section and they'll pop up, and then I will be able to read them up. Okay, great. So let's see. Okay, so if your spouse is making calls at night with the ex, how should one handle that? All right, so the first thing that I would say to you is that if that is happening, then it means that your spouse is still a child and not yet a grown person. And so your child still has a lot to learn, but you need to handle it with care. You don't attack. All I always say is that you don't attack, you have conversations. So ask him or her, why are you still talking with your ex? Because you are supposed to ex your exes. That's what I always say. Ex your exes. So there's no reason for you to talk to your ex. You're not going to die. Where if you don't talk to your ex, you're going to still be alive. So leave your exes alone and face your mind. But what you should do as a person who has noticed this is to have a conversation with him or her and tell her that this is actually not allowed. Whatever it is he wants to discuss or she wants to discuss can be discussed with you. All right, beautiful. So let's move on. What should this wife do? She invests 1 million naira and gets 18% per annum as profit for a month. Her husband thinks it's not a good investment. He tells her not to do it again. Now she has touched part of the money she never wanted to touch for family issues. First question, why did your husband say stop that investment? Could it be because it's a Ponzi scheme? Getting 18% per month in any business, that's quite much. And I'm a business person, so I can tell you. So if you have an investment of 1 million naira and you are being paid 18% per month, then we want to ask what exactly that investment is. How much are the people making from your money that they are paying you 18%? Well, I don't know what the investment is, but most likely your husband is saying so because there is something he is not seeing. Except there is something else in this question, but you should listen to your husband and ask him, where should I now invest the money? So don't touch the money, don't eat the money. Ask your husband, since you have said I should not invest here, then where should I invest the money. All right, we're moving on. And for those of you who are here in the comment section, don't worry. Immediately we're done with these questions that were sent in, you can begin to ask your questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. Let's move on. What do you do in a situation where your partner will do anything to support you? Because, okay, okay, let's go back a little. What do you do in a situation where your partner wouldn't do anything to support you because it is of no benefit to him, but expects you to support him and help out when he needs you because he feels he is the one providing financially in the home? This particular marriage already has a problem. It is skewed to one part. Whoever sent this question, please come in for counseling. That's what I'll tell you. Come in for counseling. Let's sit down and actually know what is happening in your marriage. Because if your husband is not supporting you in whatever you are doing, then that marriage already has a problem. So let's move on. Number 4, I have been married for almost 5 years and we have been struggling with sex and communication. My husband feels that sex supersedes communication. I feel otherwise. We rarely talk, and I'm big on communication. Whenever he gets to talk to me and show a bit of affection, then it must end in sex, and it makes me so unhappy. I want to know how to handle this. Okay, so it means that in your marriage, you already have a communication problem. And what is probably happening now is that your husband communicates differently from the way you communicate. First of all, let me quickly say that there's nothing wrong with your husband wanting sex. Sex is a good thing. Sex is something that you and your husband should enjoy. However, I understand where you want to talk and all he's thinking of is sex. So it looks like he only talks to you because he wants sex. And that can actually be quite painful to somebody. So it's almost like if I don't give you sex, then you won't talk to me. So you only talk to me because of sex. Now, this is a communication problem. Both of you need to be able to streamline your communication. And hey, for somebody like you would want to go and take our course online, Improving Communication in Marriage. That course is there for you to take and learn how to improve the communication between you and your spouse. And yes, you can actually get your spouse to talk. When you think your spouse is not talking enough, you can get him to talk. And we have a new book that is coming out. Yeah, that's exciting. I'll talk to you later on that. We have a new book that is coming out called What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You. And that book is on communication. So this problem, like you have highlighted, is actually a communication problem, okay? And you need to actually sort out the communication problem. So there's no problem with the sex. It's actually a communication problem. If your husband starts talking to you better without thinking of sex all the time, I'm sure you won't have a problem with the sex, okay? All right, and I greet all of you who are greeting me in the comment section. Greet you, greet you, greet you. Let's move on. How can couples who live apart build intimacy, bonding, and connection, especially in their parental journey? I get this question a lot. And believe it or not, I always say that God did not create marriage for husband and wife to live apart. There are sometimes that it is inevitable that you live apart. There's sometimes that it is your choice. Let's look at times that it's inevitable. So if your husband or your wife is a military person, it's inevitable that you live apart. If your husband or wife maybe works offshore, it's inevitable that you must live apart for, some time. So I mean, these are things that cannot be helped. For instance, you can't take your wife or your husband offshore with you. You can't take your wife or your husband to the military posting that you are in. However, for those who have chosen that one person wants to go abroad to get greener pastures and the other person is staying in Nigeria, what I will advise you to do is either go and join him or her, or the person should come back. But if your plan is that you will stay separately because you are looking for greener pastures, then that's a choice you made and you need to rethink that choice. You see, in life, there is always something to sacrifice. There is always something to sacrifice in life. And if you decide to sacrifice your relationship and parenting because of greener pastures, the first thing I need to tell you is that you made that choice. So remake your choice. Look, there are some things that sound very difficult, but they're actually easy. You made the choice to live apart, remake your choice. Except, of course, like I said, in those extreme cases where you can't really choose to live together because of the kind of job that the person is doing. In that case, then that's why you need to join a community of the married to ensure that everything else is working out. You're able to get tips on what you should do. You're able to be reminded on what you should do. And that's why we have a program like the little network issue there. Let's try to sort that out. We're going to be changing network. All right, we're back. Sorry about the network glitch. I have changed my network. I don't know who it is that doesn't want me to give you these answers, but I will give you the answers today. I am dedicated today to give you all those answers. All right, so like I said, remember, there is always something to sacrifice. So choose your sacrifices very, very carefully. This is very important because some of us go all out and sacrifice things that otherwise you shouldn't sacrifice in the name of greener pastures. I hope I have answered that question. Let's move on. Number 6. If one spouse is learning and growing, building him or herself, and the spouse is not self-developing, these issues brings crisis. How can couples resolve these issues? So, learning is a mindset. There are people who are too focused on trying to make a living that they forget that there is also a learning. Did you get what I just said? There are people who are trying to make a living and they forget that there should be a learning. And I'm talking to my male folk here, all the men that are here. This is actually happening a lot. We're having more of our women, going and developing themselves, and the men are just watching. So for this, if you are the one who is developing yourself and your husband or your wife is not developing himself or herself, you want to sell it to your husband and your wife. In the couples conclave, there's something we call marketing. There's something we call marketing. So you market things to your spouse. You don't force it down your spouse's throat. Did you just hear what I said? You market things to your spouse. You don't force things down your spouse's throat. Because when you try to force things down your spouse's throat, then he or she will put a wall of defense. And that's what's happening in some marriages. So that wall of defense is now stopping your spouse from listening to you to learn. So you come to your spouse and you say, you see, you're not even reading. Why are you not reading? Don't you know we should read and develop ourselves? At that point, your spouse will just switch off and will forget the benefit of the reading and will focus on how you told him or her to read. So you want to market. Huh? You want to market. You should join the couples conclave. You learn a lot of marketing in the couples conclave. The bottom line is that be subtle, be gentle. Understand that what you know today is because you learned. Somebody taught you. So you too be patient to teach your husband. Okay? Be patient to teach your husband. All right, let's move on. My husband doesn't go to church with us. It bothers me for children. I don't fight him, but I am worried about how much this will affect my children. How do I navigate this? His father also wasn't a solid churchgoer, and today they have an estranged relationship. Okay, so of course, since his father didn't go to church, you can see what that has done to him. Because every boy models after the father. I say it again, every boy models after the father. And so, just like he modeled after his father, your children will definitely model after him. That's the truth. I'm here, I'm being honest with you. Your children, especially your male children, will model after your husband. So, what you want to do is that you need to get him somebody that will be a mentor. And a lot of people have asked me, how do I get my husband a mentor? What do you mean? Do I just walk up to him and say, go and get a mentor? You need to be wise as a wife. Okay, you need to actually be wise as a wife. There's a way for you to actually get a mentor for your husband. And this is very important. And I'm happy whoever brought up this question, I'm so happy you brought up this question. Because if you leave it like this, your children will definitely model after the man. So please, whoever sent this question, please reach out to the numbers that are on your screen and book book a counseling session so that we sit down and we structure how you can go about doing that. This is very important. Please don't take this simply. This question is a very crucial question. I'm happy you asked it. You probably don't even know how serious it is, but please reach out, book for a counseling session very urgently, because your children will follow what their father does, not what their father says. All right, I see a question already popping up on the chat, even though I wanted to finish the ones we had before the chat, but I don't want to miss out this one. Someone says, this is Wilma. Wilma says, how can a woman who works 2-3 jobs, the husband is sick, how can the wife fulfill the intimacy need in marriage? The woman doesn't have any choice to stay home. Okay, so this question is a little muddled up. I'm trying to pick what you are saying. What you are saying is that you are very, very busy and your husband is sick. So are you saying that your husband is too sick to be intimate? Okay, so is he too sick to be intimate? Is that the question that you're asking? Please help us clarify so that we can answer it properly. Okay, all right. So let's move on. And yes, Adeola Akinola, every boy models after the father. All right, let's move on. How does a couple manage the issue of somebody, be it siblings or relatives, living with them? Should this be discouraged? Should this be encouraged? Or what are the principles that could guide to inform one's decision? All right, now let me talk about your relatives living with you. I will quickly say that there's really nothing wrong in helping a relative. Everybody needs help at some point in time. Everybody needs to be able to have someone to lift them up. And you having your relative living with you is your way of helping that relative. However, there must be an expiry date. Your relative cannot live with you forever. It's supposed to be a stepping stone for that relative. So let it be a stepping stone. So have a conversation with your husband, have a conversation with your wife, and let both of you should decide. And then talk to whoever owns that relative, should talk to that relative to say, hey, you know what? What period do you need us to help you by staying here? So that relative doesn't get too comfortable and knows that he also needs to be able to find his own feet as soon as possible. Okay, so that's the answer to that. Because you can't have your relatives live with you forever. It will distort also part of you bringing up your children, and there's so many things you want to do that you can't do with them around. So there needs to be an expiry date. Okay, I hope that I have answered that question. Number 9. What are the age brackets between a man and a woman for marriage? Okay, you're trying to say how old should they be apart? What I usually advise is that anything greater than 10 years is a little bit too much. Once you are going over 10 years, that's the age difference between the husband and the wife is over 10 years, then that is already shifting generations in a big way. So you're already in 2 different generations, and it's going to give you, it's not that it can't work. And please listen to me. It is not that if it is over 10 years, it cannot work. It can work very, very well. However, it is a little bit difficult, and the older person will need to be patient with the younger person and vice versa. So that's the catch in that. But if you ask me, ultimately, the number of years, it shouldn't be more than 10 years. Anything beyond 10 years will be a struggle. Number 10. Why is it that most men are never intentional about marriage? As a woman, I'm always seeing reasons for us to be better because I believe there's always room for improvement. But my husband, on the other hand, will say, you better thank God for what you have. And he's never ready to improve by joining groups like this. watching Christian movies, or teachings that will improve intimacy. Though we had a long courtship, he didn't show the sign of not being ready to learn. All right, so this is another question that is similar to one that we had before. And I'll tell you the same thing. Your husband needs a mentor. Your husband needs another male figure who can actually carry the role like you are talking about, who carries it in his own home like you want, so that he can start following that person. But it's not so easy to give your husband a mentor. You can't just stand up and say, follow this man. In fact, that will put you into more trouble, okay? Because men have ego. So there's a way you would need to craft it. And for us to be able to craft that, we need to understand who your husband is and how your relationship is. So the same advice I gave that other person, I am giving you also. Please book for a counseling session. There are numbers that are scrolling on your screen. Reach out right now and ask them how to book for a counseling session. Book for that counseling session, and then we'll sit down and have a conversation. And I will guide you on how to get a mentor for your husband. So what is happening to your husband is that probably life has happened. He's focused too much on trying to provide for the house. So he can't see why he should sit down and start learning one thing or the other. But you see, he doesn't know that without learning that one thing or the other, he may provide everything for the family and lose the same family, because the family will be emotionally estranged from him. But he doesn't know that. And you are there as his wife, as his helpmate. You need to let him know. Okay? All right. So 11, it says, how do I help or not help my husband break from the peer boys influence habit of drinking within the week and every other weekend? When he returns home intoxicated and late in the night or in the morning, how do I encourage him to seek employment without being desperate? Okay, this person that is asking this question, you definitely need a counseling session. Please, for everybody I tell to come for a counseling session, I know what I have seen. I have done this for over 13 years, going to 14 years. So there are some kind of questions I see that I'm not going to give you an answer. I'm going to ask you to come, because if I give you an answer now, you will mess up your marriage. So for this particular question, that your husband is still behaving in quote like a boy, even though he's a man. So things that he should have done in his 20s, he's still doing them now. Then you really need to come sit with me and let's have a conversation. Let me understand what exactly is happening. Then I can guide you on what you need to do. Because if you don't do something, I tell you, he will remain a boy till he's 60. And I'm sure you won't like that. Okay. All right. How do I develop a planning culture? We don't discuss family matters as a couple. How can I guide my husband to prioritize me and the children slash family? Okay, so for this one, I would want you to get the book, Building Your Marriage Plan. Let me see if I have a copy around me. Yeah. Building Your Marriage Plan. And you can get all our books online. You can get them on Seller. We have an online store on Seller. You can get them on Amazon. So if you are somewhere outside Nigeria, you can get them. And then we have distributors all over Nigeria for our books. Okay, so you can get them. Just reach out to the number that is scrolling down and you will get all the information you need. So I need you to get this book and read it. This book will help you first know what it is that you even need to plan. Building Your Marriage Plan. It shows you 13 things that you must plan. And then the second book I need you to get is this book, Husband Manual. Husband Manual is going to teach you how to be able to reach your husband. You will understand him and you'll be able to know how to actually reach out to him. So with these two books, you'll be good. Okay? So follow the instructions in these two books. It will help you. Let's move on. Please, how does one spouse handle lack of commitment from another spouse? We spoke about, I think we did this commitment. When was that? On Friday? Okay, was it on Friday we spoke about commitment? Yeah, yesterday we spoke about commitment. By a lack of commitment, I mean laid back attitude to putting in the work to make the marriage work. It's draining and overwhelming. When one seeks knowledge intentionally, wants to build systems and structures in the home for the marriage, and wants to intentionally raise the children. First thing I will ask you is, how are you letting him know this? For every wife that is here, I need to tell you that your husband has ego. And I wrote that in this book. This book, right? This book has sold thousands of copies all over the world since it was launched in 2003. And this book um, 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 will tell you about the ego of a man. Every man has ego. So when you want to teach a man something, you want to be careful how you push it to him. If you push it to him like he's a fool, or like you are his lord and master, his ego will automatically fight you. And instead of him to listen to what you are saying, he'll be listening to how you are saying it. So one of the things you want to do is go back and ask yourself, how have I been trying to encourage my husband to be committed? You should watch our class. And for all of us that are here that are listening to me right now, I hope you've subscribed to this channel that you're on. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel you're on. Do it right now as I speak. Subscribe to it and click the notification button, because every Friday, we're here on YouTube teaching you for free on marriage. So ensure you subscribe. There's so much you can learn. We just spoke about commitment yesterday. You want to go and learn that. Okay. As a man, how do you handle conflict between your wife and siblings without taking side? Sir, you will take side. Did you hear what I just said? You will take side. Immediately you get married, your loyalty changes. Immediately you get married, your loyalty changes. Your loyalty is first to God. And if you are listening to me, please write it down. Your loyalty is first to God, then to your spouse, then to your children, before any other person. I take it again. Once you get married, your loyalty is first to God, then to your spouse, then to your children, before any other person. So if your wife has a problem with your siblings, you will first side your wife, sir. Side her first and let her know that she has your trust. Later on, you can now tell her gently that, you see, I think you should have done A, B, C. But if you want to stand in between and you want to make the mistake of saying my wife was wrong, so I want to correct her in front of my sibling, sir, you'll be looking for trouble. I'm teaching you practical marriage here, please. Practical marriage. So ensure you're always on the side of your spouse. If being on the side of your spouse means moving your spouse, let's say the conflict becomes heated, and of course, naturally, you are trying to be the peacemaker to say, come on, you don't need to raise your voice, and the thing continues, sir, take your wife away, sit down with her and calm her down. But you cannot take sides of your siblings. I'm saying this very clearly for everybody to hear, and I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. Remember, at the end of the day, it is your wife you're going to be with, not your sibling. So learn where loyalty lies. Even in governments, there are loyalty lines. Right now, there's a lot happening in the world. America is doing a lot. Trump is doing a lot. And loyalty, everybody is shifting ground. Who is loyal to who? You must be loyal to somebody. So don't play the peacemaker to the extent that you are now not loyal to your wife. I hope that I answered your question. All right. So let's move on. I am a widow. I don't seem to attract single or widowed men for remarriage. What can I do? Okay, I'm happy that you're asking this question. As a widow, you can get married. As long as you are within marriageable age, you can certainly get married. However, you need to be able to know what to do to attract men that will be of your age that can marry you. Please, book for a counseling session. Come and sit down. I have helped several widows to sit down to prepare themselves to be found. And then several widowers also have helped to also know how to find somebody who they should get married to. So for you, please book for a counseling session, reach out, and we will actually give you the direction that you need. Someone says, God, this answer I'm sure won't go down with every man. I'm not here to give you answers that will go down well. I'm here to give you the truth. Okay? I'm here to just give you the truth. And you will find out, maybe if you feel it's not the truth now, I pray that it won't be so that you are going to be finding out in your 70s or your 80s that what I said is the truth. Okay? But this is just the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay? So make peace with some of the things that you are hearing today. All right, let's move on. Good evening, sir. We already have 3 boys, and the eldest is 5 years. I'm currently pregnant with the 4th child, and she's going to be a girl. I'm due for childbirth by the end of this month. My husband is saying we might go for a 5th child, but I'm not in support of this. What should I do? Have a conversation with your husband. Let him know what you are really going through with every childbirth. The truth of the matter is that many men do not know what their wives go through in childbirth. And so they just keep pushing and saying, bring forth, bring forth. But with every child that a woman brings, and for the men that are here listening, please listen to me very carefully. With every child that a woman brings forth, her body gets damaged and it gets weakened. And so it needs extra to be able to bring forth another and another and another. And if this is the 4th one, then you've had enough children and you should actually pause. But however, you need to have a conversation with your husband. Please, never exchange conversation for confrontation. Because what some people say are conversations are actually not conversations. They are actually confrontations with their spouses. Conversation means your voice is not going high. You are able to just sit down and say, let's talk about this. And then bring forward your reasons. Tell your husband in this case, look, my body is getting weaker. Do you want me to have an emergency situation where my life is now at risk because we want more children? So explain to him medically what it means. And if you don't know, go and do research. This is research that is everywhere on the internet so that he can see facts and figures, and then go to him with facts and figures, and then he will be okay. All right. Somebody's asking a question in the comment section. Can spouse be joined the Marriage Seal Academy? Okay, your question, you may need to type it again. I don't think it came out right. Okay, so Oluchi, please type your question again and we will pick it up. All right, let's move on. Okay, somebody is saying the more the children, the more the risk involved. Yes, that's the truth of the matter. Medically, the more the children, the more the risk involved. Okay, let's move on. So a woman has decided to obey Proverbs 5:15, but there has been a strain in the intimacy, as hubby has prioritized work and hustle over above connection. She recently found herself warming up to her male friends who are also Christians and married, but understands this could be an opening to the enemy. How can she convince her husband to focus on their relationship building and is meant to cut off every godly male friends to achieve this? Whoever sent this question, God bless you, because you are being honest and you are saying, look, body no be firewood. I need my man, but my man is more focused on work. And because I need my man, I am gravitating towards other men. And I know it's wrong. So what can be done? And that's why I said thank you again from the bottom of my heart that you're asking this question. I've helped many women run away from this thing you're talking about. I've had women who will actually practically send me messages to say, sir, right now I'm about to commit adultery. Say something to me so that there's nothing stopping me right now. I just remembered you and I sent you this message. And I'll have to start telling them things to dissuade them from doing that. Now, for you, please, there's a course that is coming up, and I'm sure we'll still share details of that course. Everybody who is here should register for that course. The course is titled Renewing the Marriage Bed. Renewing the Marriage Bed. That course is that's the flyer up there. That course is a course on sexual intimacy in marriage. There are a lot of things married people don't know about sex. They don't know why God created sex. They don't know that sex is divine. They don't know that sex is a need, it's not just a want. They don't know that sex is like food. There are too many things about sex that people don't know. And that's what we'll be teaching for 2 days in this course. So we're actually going to be giving you details of this course in the group. And that's why I said, for everybody who is in that group, in that WhatsApp group, please don't leave. There's so much information that you will get that will help you. So please, for the person who asked this question, please come for this course. We're going to teach you in the course how to make your husband attracted to you, how to make your wife attracted to you. Because in Christendom, we don't talk about some of these things. And these things are the things that are causing issues. There are many people who are listening to me right now that have been swayed away with other men, other women, not because they want to, but because their husbands and wives are not doing what they're supposed to do when it comes to the marriage bed. We'll give you details of this course before we go. Okay? But of course, the numbers on the screen, you can send your message there, but we'll give you details in the group so that everybody should register. Please, the course is going for a ridiculous amount for a couple. Just 20,000 naira. It's not even up to Chairman Pizza for those of you who do Domino's Pizza. I think Chairman Pizza is 20 something thousand now, and you just eat it and it goes down. That's all. So we are giving you this course almost free. 20,000 naira is a ridiculous cost for a 2-day course. I'll be talking to you for 2 days, 8 p.m. every day, for 1.5 hours every day, telling you about sex. And you are wondering, what will you be saying about sex? That's because you don't know half of what you are supposed to know on sex. You just think that sex is just about jumping on the bed with your husband, with your wife. Oh, it goes beyond that. And we'll talk about the jumping on the bed also. Oh, we'll talk about it. So please, for the person who asked that question, please ensure that you register for that course. Okay. We'll give you the details. Okay. So thank you for answering that question. Now, let me quickly catch that question that was there in the group that I asked somebody to. Okay. So he says, okay, no. That's the same. Can spouse to be join the Marriage Academy? So yes, so for spouse to be, we have a program for you. We have pre-marital counseling, but it depends on what you mean by spouse to be. Are you already engaged to be married? If you are engaged to be married, we have a program for you, premarital counseling. That program is there for you. If you are not yet engaged and you are still waiting and hoping to get a spouse, we have a course called Becoming Mr. and Mrs. And Becoming Mr. and Mrs., we do it once every year in November. So once we do that course, we put all of them in a group. All of them are in a group, and then you can find each other in the group. We have hundreds of people in those groups, and they're already marrying each other. Okay, so depending on the category you are in, we have somewhere for every category. Just reach out to the number that is on your screen, and then you will get that category. Okay, somebody says, where is that now? The woman's life is at risk. Oh, please run for your dear life. Some men will still insist. Well, don't worry about that. That's why I've told her what to do. All right, great. So let us move on. Is there anything that I have missed? Okay, Fatima says, good evening, please. How do I get my husband to commit in building our marriage? You get him to commit by teaching him. I was talking about marketing earlier. So first, you need to learn. It is the knowledge you have that you are going to now teach him. Now, but teaching a man is different from teaching a woman. You don't go to a man and just force him to learn. No, you market it. You know how you market something? So something that somebody does not know, does not want to buy, but you sell it to that person. You convince the person. But you see, it's easier to convince with facts. So what I will tell you, Fatima, is get knowledge. Okay? Get knowledge. And we have books, we have courses, okay, on the knowledge you need to get. And there are 2 books that are coming out newly, and we'll give you all that information. Those books will really, really help you. One of them is on communication, and that is what you need. Okay. Let's see. Is there any other one that I've missed? Is there one that I've missed? Okay. All right. So let's move to the next question. How to deal with a partner, that's a husband, who is choleric in nature, does not see any good in you, the wife, who is never satisfied with anything you do as the wife. Ma, please come for counseling. This is plenty. Okay. When you say somebody doesn't see any good in you and is not satisfied with anything you do, you have a big problem in your marriage. Okay, it's not a small problem when your husband, unless you are overblowing what it is, but if this is actually you, that your husband is choleric, there's nothing wrong with being choleric, okay, by the way, but your husband is choleric and then he does not see any good in you, that's a big problem. As in, there's nothing he sees that he appreciates in you, and he's not satisfied with anything you do. Ma, please come and sit down in counseling. Your marriage is about to hit the rocks, because what it means is that your husband does not care if you are there or not, and that's bad. When you have reached a point in your marriage where your husband or your wife does not care whether you are there or not, as in you are no longer an important part of his life, when you are supposed to be the most important part, then your marriage is just quarter to hit the rocks. I'm not praying a negative prayer for you. I'm just telling you what it is. Okay, that's your diagnosis. Please come and sit down in counseling. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Somebody says, I like the part of jumping, jumping about the bed. All right. Okay, somebody says, why do we have more women waiting in marriage classes than men? Well, I can answer that very clearly for you. The nature of a man is that a man wants to go out and provide. And so his mind is preoccupied with how you can provide. But he forgets that his wife is there to help him to make whatever he's doing easy. And so if he makes his marriage good, he will do better at providing. But you see, they don't know this because nobody taught them. The truth of the matter is that many people didn't do premarital counseling. And those who did premarital counseling did it, haphazardly. They did it just because they won't marry them in that church. So a lot of people, both husbands and wives, are lacking in marriage. We have a course in the academy called Marriage Basics. That marriage basic is for people who are already married but did not get the basic knowledge of marriage before they got married. In case you are here and you're listening to me, you didn't do premarital counseling, or you did it, but you too, you know that you were just in that class and waiting for it to close. Or you did it and the person who delivered it did not have the qualities and the qualifications and the capacity to deliver it. Please, you need to go and do that course. It's called Marriage Basics. Okay? So, for men, like I said, men are focused too much on providing. That's how nature has made them. As in, nature has made them to always think of providing. However, they need to also start thinking of building themselves so that it will help them to provide more. And that's why you, the wife, are there. You're supposed to help the man. Remember, you are his helpmeet. So anything that he's doing or he's not doing, you're supposed to help him out. So if your husband is not learning, it is your job to make him learn. Please remember, it is your job as a wife to make your husband learn, but you don't need to force him to do that. All right. So let's move on. Number 19, is masturbation a sin? My husband wants to try anal. Is it okay? My husband explains that I'm not sexually very active in bed like him. Is that an issue? Number 1, is masturbation a sin? Yes. Why is masturbation a sin? When you are masturbating, what are you thinking about? That's what makes it a sin. Remember, even Jesus Christ said, when you lust after a woman, you've not touched her, you lust after her, you have committed a sin. So when you are masturbating, you are most likely thinking of one woman or one porn that you have watched or something else, and you are sinning. So yes, masturbation is a sin. Number 2, she says, my husband wants to try anal. Is it okay? No. In sex, there are 2 major rules. Number 1, it must be private. Number 2, it must be safe. I say it again. In sex, there are 2 major rules. Number 1, it must be private. Number 2, it must be safe. Anal is not safe because your anus was not made to be penetrated by a penis. And so when that happens, you're going to have tears, you're going to have bruises, you're going to have hurts. Remember that for a woman, your vagina was created to be able to self lubricate. And so when there is penetrative sex, there's no hurt because it is lubricated. Your anus is not created to self lubricate. And so when there's penetration, you will actually bruise the person. So anal sex is a no because it does not fulfill the second condition of sex, that's it being safe. And then the third thing, you said, my husband complains that I'm not sexually active in bed. Is that an issue? Yes, it is an issue. If you are not sexually active in bed, it will bore your husband. Please, the person who answered this question, make sure you are the first to register for that course, renewing the marriage bed. Get your husband. I'm sure he'll be happy to also attend it when he hears about it, because it's on sex, 2 days on sex. So you and your husband should sit down with notebook or tablet. Sit down and take that course. This is very important, because if your husband is complaining that you are not active in sex, it means he is not having a fulfilling sex life, and that is wrong. Okay, let's move on. I see a question there, says, how do you get a man who invested in a Ponzi scheme to see it for what it is and pull out of the scheme? He sincerely believes it's a legit business. Okay, so for you, Goody, it means you have not been able to reach a point where you can convince your husband, and that means your influence on your husband is low. So you need to increase your influence on your husband. Do you know how you increase your influence on your husband? Knowledge. So if you are telling him not to invest in the Ponzi scheme, what are you telling him to invest in? That's the secret. So go and find out, what should he invest this money in that can give him profit. It may not give him the profit of the Ponzi scheme, definitely, because Ponzi schemes, for what they are Ponzi schemes, they're just fake. But it can give him something that is healthy. So you go and do that research, okay, to find out what he should invest his money in. Then also do a research on Ponzi schemes to show him why that particular thing is a Ponzi scheme. When you have armed yourself with this knowledge, then go to him. And remember what I said, have conversations, not confrontations. Okay? All right. So that's I hope I helped you in that one. We have a course. Look, we have a course or a book on anything that you're looking for in the Marriage Seal Academy. So we have a course titled How to Make a Million for Your Family. It's a course on finance in marriage. You want to take that course, it will help you and give you the knowledge you need to speak to your husband. This is Dr. Joy Nafisa. Yes, Dr. Joy is actually one of us in the couples conclave. She has added her own professional touch. She said fecal incontinence may result from anal sex. Okay, so I don't know what that is, but definitely it is a medical condition. And she has just told you that anal sex can actually cause this. Okay, so there you go. You have the medical side of it. Good evening, sir. How can I help my parents who are in their 60s, who are living together, but live as though they are strangers? My mom is willing to learn, but my dad. Let your mom come for counseling. Sophia, did you get that? Let your mom, who is willing to learn first, come for counseling. I'll sit down with your mom. I'll have a conversation with her. I will understand what happened in their marriage that brought them to the state they are in now. And I'll be able to advise her on what she needs to do to start getting your dad interested. And then he can also come for counseling and we can have that conversation. Look, in recent times this year, I've been having people in their 70s come for counseling for the first time. And I've been able to help them to resolve their marriage. What happened to most of them is that they've always had a bad marriage, but they patched it. So most of our parents, whether we like it or not, they just patched the marriage. They didn't know what to do, but because divorce was not a common thing in their times, so they just patched the marriage and they just managed through. Now children have left home, work has ended, so they are stuck with each other. And then they are now faced with the reality of no relationship. So because of that, they begin to, have issues in their marriage. Okay, so please get your mom to come for counseling. We will work things out. Okay, yeah. So this is how to register for the course, how to make a million for your family. And you can reach out to the team. They'll give you all the details that you need. Let's see what this question is saying. Can a spouse join conclave without a partner? Yes, Esther. Yes, yes, and yes. And conclavites who are there conclavites here? Please, if you're a conclavite and you're actually in this stream and you joined before your husband or before your wife, put it in the comment section that I joined before my spouse, but now my spouse is with me. Put it there in the comment section so that Esther can see. So the answer, Esther, is yes. One spouse can join first. But I promise you, before we go into 3 months, if you follow the things we are doing in the in the couples conclave, you draw your husband in. Okay, so that's that about that. So I've answered your question. Yes, it can be. Oh, another doctor has helped to explain to us what fecal incontinence means. It means being unable to hold poop. That means the person just pulls. You can no longer, the muscles of your anus that are supposed to close and clamp so that poo doesn't just flow out, they are now weakened. Okay, injured and of course weakened, so they can no longer hold your poo. So you just poo in continue. So I mean, this is enough reason for you to avoid anal sex. Okay, all right. Okay, and you can see people have started saying it. Esther, Chin also says, I joined without my husband. Okay, so, and I'm sure more people, you see them in the comment section who joined without their husbands, and eventually their husbands came in. Good evening, sir. How can I help my parents who are in their 60s? Oh, okay, I think I've answered this question, Sophia. Okay, I have answered this question. All right. So good. Oh, so more people. I joined without my spouse. Okay. More people. I joined without my husband. So Esther, and most of these people who are speaking now, their husbands have joined or their husbands are on the way to joining. All right. Great, great, great. So let's move on. Oh, okay. That's details for the couples. We'll discuss this later on. Let's focus on our questions again. Is it okay if it's majorly a spouse who initiates sex in marriage? The issue has been discussed with my partner, but he does not see anything wrong in it. He said, as far as I don't turn you down when you initiate it. Okay, so there is an issue. Yes. Marriage should actually be, sex in marriage should be interesting, should be fun. From time to time, one or the other spouse should initiate. It shouldn't be just one person initiating. Please, whoever asks this question, in fact, I've said it that all of you should register for that course. Everybody should register for the course Renewing Your Marriage Bed. Register first, even if your spouse is not joining yet. Register first for the course Renewing Your Marriage Bed. Okay, and then when you are done, your husband look for how to now, join your husband or get your husband or your wife to join. Okay, so this will help you to know how these things can be changed. Okay, and more people are saying I joined before my spouse, now my spouse is with me. Sonny says I joined later after my spouse joined. So come on, you have all your answers there. Okay, I don't have a problem with being a pastor, but he has literally left provisions for his wife. 4 out of 7 times in a week, he calls for urgent 3K. Now he's entitled. She's shrinking while he's adding. Okay, so please, if this is about you, Judith, if this is about you, please come for counseling. If it's not about you, tell the person to please come for counseling. There is an issue in your marriage. You are having a problem with your intimacies in the marriage. And when we say intimacies, there are different intimacies. It's not just sexual intimacy. There is financial intimacy. There is crisis intimacy. There is spiritual intimacy. So there are different intimacies. Judith, please come in for counseling. Let's sit down and talk about this matter that you have just brought up. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Please, how long does sex last on a normal day? My wife and I got married as virgins. Don't seem to last for long during sex. She doesn't have a problem with it, but wishes for trusting to last longer. Okay, so I don't know if what you are talking about is premature ejaculation. So, what you are saying is that you don't last for long, and so your wife does not reach orgasm. If that is the problem, then you need to come and sit down and listen to that course. Okay, so we're going to be talking everything sex, and when I say everything, I mean everything. Before, during, and after sex, we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about before sex. We'll talk about what happens during sex. We'll talk about what happens after sex. So you got married as virgins. That's a beautiful thing. And I thank God for your lives. That's how marriage is supposed to be. But it doesn't mean that your sexual life cannot be optimal. So it can be optimum. And that's why people like us are here to guide you on how it should be. So please register for that course and you will get all the details that you need. Somebody says, "Good evening, coach. What happens when it's the woman who doesn't pay attention to the marriage and the home while the man is striving to see that the marriage works? How can this woman be helped?" The same thing applies. You teach the woman. Let's understand that one of the six purposes of marriage, and yes, marriage has six purposes. One of the six purposes of marriage is completion. Completion. And that means that husband will complete the wife and wife will complete the husband. So both parties complete each other. So if one person is deficient in something, and like in this case, deficient to paying attention to the marriage, then the other person needs to teach that person in love how. And that's why you must be in the couples conclave. Yes, you should be in the couples conclave. The couples conclave is that 11-month program of the Marriage Seal Academy. So everybody should actually be. This year we have over 500. I can't remember 500 and what. We have over 500 couples in the couples conclave learning how to be married. The couples conclave is lifetime. It's an accountability system. You hold on to it for the rest of your lives, and it just helps you to build each other. And it also helps you not to fall by the way. So ensure that you are in the couples conclave for 2026. 2025 has already gone too far. You can't join us halfway, but join us for the couples conclave 2026. Okay, and registration is already open for 2026. You will be in a waiting group, and in that waiting group, you'll be fed, from time to time, some knowledge here and there on marriage until you can now join us in 2026. Let's move on. How do you handle a sibling who has decided to keep me at arm's length, even when I make all efforts to reach out to him? It is really exhausting and overwhelming, please. Okay, so for this, Remy, most likely there is something that has happened, and your sibling probably has not told you what it is. So you need to actually ask. Maybe you are not asking the right questions. So perhaps you should ask the sibling if there's anything on his mind that he is hot about, so that that sibling can now have a conversation with you. But the truth of the matter is that until your sibling, this sibling of yours, until he or she opens up to you, it's going to be difficult for you to actually reach out to that person. Okay? So you need to get the person to first open up to you. So send a message. If the person is not taking your call, send a message and say, "Look, whatever it is, I need you to know that I'm here to listen to what it is that I have done to make you upset. Send me a message, send me a voicemail, send somebody to me. Just talk to me." Okay, I hope that answers your question. Yes, and to register for the course, this is the registration details. I'm sure it's being shared on the group also, so you will see all the registration details on the group. There's so much that is going to be shared to you on that group. We're going to give you some free resources also on that group. So ensure you are in that group. Ensure that you do not leave that group. Okay, all right. So moving on, let's look at the next question. Somebody says, "What do you say about oral sex?" So the Bible actually is silent. On anal sex, the Bible talks about it. Okay, and that's where it talks about sodomy. So part of sodomy is anal sex. But the Bible actually is a little bit quiet on um oral sex. It really doesn't say anything about it. However, medically, you will be told also that your private parts, because they are always covered, are a host. Your private part is usually a host to bacteria and some other microorganisms. So, because of that, oral sex may be dangerous because if you ingest some of those microorganisms, you may fall sick. So you may have the doctors will tell you that there are some bacteria you have in your private part that won't do anything to you there. They're actually even there to even help to break down dirt and all of that. But if it gets into a human being by the person's mouth, it can actually harm the human being through, I mean, when it's inside the intestine or in the organ of the mouth. That's the organ, the whole mouth of the person, so you can get infected. That's what I'm trying to say. So because of that, it will be advisable to restrain from oral sex. However, as it stands right now, and to the best of my knowledge, the Bible does not say anything against oral sex. But I've told you my own my own viewpoint, and that is that you can ingest organisms during oral sex, and that can make you sick. And because of that, it may not be safe. Okay, so I hope I have answered your question. Let's move on. Please, how do I get my spouse to live with me when his job description requires that he works in the hinterlands? Okay, so that job that he has taken is a choice. And that job can either change or your job can change. Whichever way it is, two of you can actually find a way to move back together. Because if you think you are going to live the rest of your lives living in separate places and maybe only coming to visit, it's going to hamper your relationship. It will definitely hamper your relationship. It will hamper your connection. It will hamper sex. Because sex, you are supposed to have sex a minimum of 3 times a week. Yes. In case you don't know. Again, if you've not registered for this course, please register. There's too much you don't know that you need to know. So one of the things that can happen is for one of you to look for how to change job or transfer. That's, like I said, it's a choice that was made. But there is something to sacrifice for every choice that we make. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful about what it is that you sacrifice. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so let's continue with the questions that were already sent in. In my relationship, the guy in question hardly calls nor chats with me. Whenever I talk to him about it, he'll change and start calling once in a while for someone, and then go back to his old nature. Please, sir, in this situation, what can I do? Because I'm confused and I've made up my mind to end things with him, which I don't know if it is the right thing to do. This is what I will tell you. I can't tell you to end or not to end because I don't know the full details. But I can tell you one thing: communication is at the core of marriage. There are 3 major issues in marriage: communication, finance, and sex. And communication is the most important of the 3. So if already before you even talk about marriage, communication is already a problem, then that's a red flag. It means that inside marriage, communication may be a problem. I say may because I do not know the circumstances. And so you may want to retrace and look very well and ask yourself, is this just a seasonal thing? Or is this how the guy is? If that is how it is, then this is a good time to back out before you enter the marriage properly. And that's why you must do the course Becoming Mr. and Mrs. Please, if you are here and you are listening to me and you are among the singles that are here listening to me, don't miss that course, Becoming Mr. and Mrs. It holds in November. If you are not yet married or you've not gotten somebody before November, please ensure you attend that course. We also have a book titled Who to Marry. Who to Marry. You also want to get that book. It's an ebook, okay? So get that book and it will help you in your quest for marriage. And Judy says, red flags don't turn green. I like that. Red flags don't turn green. So please, if you have seen a red flag, like I said, I'm not going to be here to tell you to stay or to go because I don't know all the details. But if you have seen a red flag, we have just been reminded that the red flags don't turn green. All right, let's move on. How do I move on while still married? It has been 10 years and my spouse is not open for marriage counseling. He listens to friends and family who say he should concentrate on the children. I have been patient alone enough. I am in TIP and also registered my children in mentorship programs. The growth is so slow and structured. The growth is so slow and structure I set is being disrupted. I don't want to wait forever. Please, ma, come for counseling. When a man has refused to make the relationship work, it probably means something happened along the line that caused that. I'm sure he didn't just wake up and stop. Something happened in your marriage. We need to talk about that thing. We need to go back and trace the origin of what is happening in your marriage now. But one thing I can assure you is that if you are able to come and sit down with me and we have a conversation, you're going to see that there is a road, there is a way out of this mess, and you will definitely get out of it. I've helped countless couples who are even on the brink of divorce, and we were able to have a conversation and things turned around. So it is very, very possible, and I want you to please book for a counseling session. Reach out to the number that is on your screen, okay, and you get all the details for how to book for a session. Thank you for asking the question, okay? So don't stay and watch. No, nothing is going to change. If you wait for another 10 years, nothing will change. I can assure you it will only get worse. So please come and let us quickly do something about it because there is what to be done. Somebody says you have pleaded with your spouse to forgive you for past mistakes. He claims you have not offended him, yet he is no longer communicating with you. Right now, you feel like a total stranger in your home because he treats you as if you are not there and will let you know at any given opportunity that he is waiting for the children to grow up for him to leave. What are you supposed to do? Please, ma, come for counseling. This is a recipe for disaster. When your husband or your wife, as the case may be, in this case is a husband, when your husband has refused to communicate with you in a marriage and you are just there in quote for the children, then your marriage is not doing okay. Please, for everybody who is listening to me, if your marriage is not doing okay, time is not going to solve it. Prayer will solve it, but there is what God will tell you to do when you pray. And that's the mistake a lot of Christians make. We sit down and we pray and we pray and we pray, but we're not listening. You know, David in the Bible once went to war with all his men. And before he came back, the enemy had come to his camp and carried his family, carried his children, carried every good they had. So by the time David and his men came back to their camp, they saw nobody and nothing. And they wept and they wailed and they cried. The Bible doesn't tell us how long they cried, whether they cried for 1 week or 10 days, we don't know. But the Bible says, and that David encouraged himself in the Lord. And then he inquired of the Lord and asked, Lord, should I pursue? Then God gave him an instruction. God now said, pursue, overtake, and recover all. And then David went and pursued, he overtook, and recovered all. Can we stop as Christians and begin to do what God has asked you to do? You have been praying and asking God to intervene in your marriage. God has told you what to do, but you've refused. For some of you, this is an answer to that prayer. For some of you, booking for a counseling session is the answer to the prayer. You asked God, God has directed you, and you are listening to me right now. You are hearing me tell you something you can do, and you are still hardening your heart. So for some of you, it may just be a book that you need. For some of you, it may be a course that you need. For some of you, it may be just for you to reduce your pride. Your pride has been high, your arrogance, and you've refused to come down to sort of beg your husband or your wife on things that you know you did wrong. Please, everything needs to be moved by something. Everything needs to be moved by something. So please do something. Don't sit down and watch your marriage. I've seen it hurts me when people come to me and then they've had a problem for 20 years. And then they're just coming to me now. And I ask them, are you saying you didn't see any counselor again in these 20 years? As in, you waited 20 years and suffered in that marriage 20 years, and then you're coming after 20 years? Come on, you can do better than that. So please, I beg you, ensure you come book for a counseling session. Let's sit down and know what exactly happened. Okay, let's move on. Somebody has a question in the comment section. It says, my husband continually cheats, lies to other women about me. His family tells him what to do. He does not have a mind of his own. What can I do? There is what you can do. Your husband does not have a mind of his own. He's being controlled by his relatives, right? Sorry. So your husband is being controlled by his family. That means he can be controlled. That's the first thing I just picked from what you have said. So your husband can be controlled. Why is it not you controlling your husband? That's the question you should ask yourself. I don't know if somebody can hear me. Your husband is not uncontrollable. It's different. There are some people who their husbands listen to nobody. This one, your husband listens to his family. So what you need to do is take over the reins. Be the influence of your husband. For that to happen, please come for counseling. Sit down. We'll sit down and we will discuss what it is that needs to be done. I will hear you, understand the situation, and I will guide you on what you need to do so that your husband will begin to listen to you instead of listening to his family. That way, you will save your marriage. Okay, great, great, great. Somebody says, I need counseling. That's fine, Queen. Please just reach out to the number that is on your screen. Okay, the number that is scrolling on your screen is scrolling continuously. So reach out to that number on your screen, and then you get all the details that you need for counseling. Okay, so let's see. I hope we're gaining something. Please, are we getting? Put it in the comment section. Let me be sure that I'm teaching you something and I'm helping to answer your questions. So if I'm answering the questions you have, please put it there in the comment section and let me know. Someone says, I have been in a long distance marriage for 5 years. We reunited this year, but now it seems as if we're strangers. We hardly discuss family matters, and our sex life is suffering. Yes, it will be like that, because remember what I said, marriage was not designed for husband and wife to live separately. So right now, you're just learning. You're probably just starting your marriage all over again. I recommend for you to do the course Marriage Basics. Please write it down so that you don't forget. Marriage Basics. So there's this course, Marriage Basics, that we run at the Marriage Academy, and it helps couples to actually understand what marriage is and how they should deal with marriage. So ensure you register for that course. Just reach out to the number on your screen and say you want to register for Marriage Basics. Okay, and then you'll get all the details you need. But make sure you register for the course Renew Your Marriage Bed. Okay, in the meantime, so that you also sort out the sex problem. Okay, and people are saying yes, 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 you are getting a lot. Okay, great, great, Miriam. You're getting a lot. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, learning a lot. I'm happy that you are all here. I'm happy. Dr. Happiness, all the way from Benin. I greet you. All right, happy that you are all here to learn. So let us move on with our questions. My wife never shares her finances with me, but I share mine with her. How do I get her to be financially transparent with me? You get that by having a conversation with her. Sit down with your wife and tell your wife that both of you actually need to build a family finance empire. That's what I call it, a family finance empire. And that if you are doing it alone, yes, you are the man, yes, you are carrying the responsibilities, but that both of you together can actually do something greater. Because the Bible says one shall chase 1,000 and two shall put 10,000 to flight. So let her understand that there is power in two. Your wife most likely had the wrong orientation before getting married about finances, and that orientation needs to be cleared. So it will be a good thing if it's difficult for you to pass that information to her, then please book for a counseling session for both of you, and both of you should come. We'll have a conversation, and I'll tell both of you how you can actually both register for both manage your finances. And I'm very sure, I'm confident, because it has happened over and over again, that when she hears from outside, from an outsider who is a professional, and by the way, in case you don't know it, I used to work in the bank for 18 years. I've done business now for over 26 years. I have investments all over the world. So when you are talking about finance, that's my thing. Okay. So let her know who it is that she's coming to meet. I'm sure she would actually change her mind after all. Okay. Good. So let's move on. Um, Someone says, is it okay to make love during a woman's menstrual flow? Now, this is a good question. Medically, there's no problem with it. Medically, there's no problem with having sex during your mental flow. However, it can kind of be messy. And most men will not want that kind of mess, because men, as messy as men are, they don't like mess. Do you know that? The men who are here, please confirm to me. As messy as men are, and we know that men can be messy. I mean, we throw our shirts everywhere, throw our shoes everywhere, we disorganize everywhere. We're not like women who are kind of prim and proper. But when it comes to that kind of mess, most men don't like it. Okay, so they would rather avoid it. So I usually tell women, women have been upset before, and they've said, oh, my husband, why is it I it's at that time that I'm actually very horny, and my husband avoids me during that time. And I tell them, look, don't mess with the man's mind. Remember that a man can get irritated. So you don't want him to get irritated and then start running away from you. So during that whole period, you want to actually keep his eyes away from it. And you're going to learn so much. Please, if you've not registered for that course, what are you waiting for? I'm talking about the renewing the marriage bed. It's on sex. Because in that course, I'm going to be answering part of this question. Men are moved by what they see. So if what they see is messy, it's going to irritate them. The man might not tell you. And this goes to some of the women who are listening to me, who do not take very good care of disposing of the pads they use and all of that. And you allow your husband to see it, because in quote, you feel that he's your husband, so that he should, there should be nothing new about that. No, that's actually wrong. You should actually keep his eyes away from the mess, okay, during that period. I know you may start looking at it and saying, oh, are you saying that I'm messed up? But it's the truth. That what is coming out, what is it? Is it waste? Yes, it's waste. It's waste blood. So it's almost the same as getting your husband seeing you pooing or weeing. Seeing the poo or the wee. That's how it actually is for men. And I'm just trying to tell you as women, that's how it is. So it is messy. So you want to avoid your husband from seeing it, because for some people, and this is something that has happened severally. Remember, I've been in counseling for a long time. There are some men who have gotten irritated from sex because their wives cannot take care of that period during menstruation. So please, I beg you, during your menstrual flow, please make sure you take care of yourself, clean yourself very well, spray yourself with body spray so that there are no smells. Men also have a problem with smell. My God, there's too much you are going to learn in that course. Sorry, this is not the course. These things I'm just telling you are just here and there. In the course, we'll give you comprehensive from beginning to the end. So make sure you come for that course. Okay. If your spouse doesn't tell you everything because he feels you won't understand or feels you are too sensitive, is this a red flag in marriage? So, a man, and please, Fabulous, thank you for this question, but I will explain to you what is happening. A man is designed to be a hero. This book, if you're a woman and you don't have this book, Husband Manual, please look at it in case you can't see it. Husband Manual, please go and get it. It will help you a lot. A man is designed to be a hero. So a man is designed to save his wife. Naturally, for a reasonable man, and because there are some unreasonable men, for a reasonable man, he's not going to want to pour on you something that will make you sad or depressed. And For the wives that are here, please listen to me and listen very well. Men carry a lot of baggage. When I say baggage, I mean a lot of things that are wrong that has happened to them or that is happening to them. They cannot tell you as it's happening because it will weigh you down. They have the strength to carry it. But it will be irresponsible for them to pour it on you and just tell you this is what happened to me during the day. If every man tells you what happens to him every day, you will cry every single day. So because of that, some men will hold on to the information and will not release it to you because they feel you can't handle it. And maybe your responses in the past to some of the things they have told you has even made them hold back. Now, I'm not saying that it's okay for them to hold back. I'm explaining to you why it happens. So it's not really a red flag per se, but it's something you can modify. And you modify it by letting him know, giving him that trust that you can actually take what it is. But when you say you can take it, please make sure you can damn well take it. Okay? So I hope I answered your question. And okay, I see the men. The men I hear, the men are saying true. They're talking about men not liking to see that mess that we spoke about. Yes, I don't like mess. So the men are actually speaking. Okay? Okay. Somebody says, after infidelity, what is a healthy way to process the emotions, distrust, trauma? How do we talk about it, especially when the offender is reluctant? After any infidelity, please listen to me very well. After any infidelity, both the husband and the wife must sit down with a counselor. Did you hear what I just said? After infidelity, the husband and the wife, I don't know, it doesn't matter who was unfaithful, whether it's the husband or the wife, but after infidelity, both of them must sit down with a counselor. Failure to do this will either make the infidelity happen again or will make the person that was hurt to become very, very angry and very, very upset with that spouse. And I mean for life. In fact, the person will resent that spouse for life. That is why I say again, if there has been infidelity in your marriage and you didn't sit with a counselor, you are sitting on a time bomb. Both the offender and the offendee. So the answer is please come for counseling. Okay? All right. I'm sure both people are seeing a lot of come for counseling, come for counseling. Look, it's just going to help your life and make it better. It will just help you and make it better. So don't run away from counseling. Counseling can change a lot. Just one session can change a lot in your mind. That thing you've been struggling with, one session can change it. Let's move on. How do I handle a situation where my spouse can't tolerate me farting in the house? It causes a fight all the time, and I wonder why he won't allow me to feel comfortable in my own space. Please, ma, farting is not a nice thing to do in front of a person. If you feel like farting, ma, please go into the toilet. Or better still, go outside so that it is free to air. Okay, so that it is free to air. It is not a nice thing. So it's not about you being comfortable in your own space. Even if you are alone in your house, it is not nice that you sit in one place, you fart in the place, and then you take it all in. It's just not nice. So you want to fart, please make it a habit to run to the toilet, fart, and then leave it in the toilet. Leave that human being in the toilet, okay? And then come outside. You, the other human being that we know, come outside without that other human being. Okay, so I don't think your husband is asking for too much if he's just saying don't fart where people are. It's just a decent thing to do. Like I said, even when you are alone in your house, it is not nice. And I see some people, and this thing is from growing up. You say it's comfort, but think of it. In your house where you grew up from, that is how everybody probably does. They just fart anyhow and it's okay. Everybody just laughs about it. It's not a nice thing, please. It's not a laughable thing. It's not a nice thing. So don't fart on yourself. Don't fart on anybody else. I hope I have answered your question. Okay. Somebody says, my husband wants me to have another baby for him when he is all over the place with so many other women. Okay, Queen, I don't know if this is a question. What is it a question you're asking? Is it that you don't want to have a baby, or because he's running around with other women? If he's running around with other women, Queen, your marriage has a big problem. So please come for counseling. Okay, and I can see you followed it with a question. You say, how do you drag your husband for counseling? Now that's the problem. You want to drag him, he won't come. I know that that language you just used it, trying to, just trying to say the husband is reluctant to come. I understand, but I'm trying to also interpret it to you that if you think you can force your husband to come for counseling, he will not come, because men have ego. So you rather influence your husband. And let me tell you what I've told many women: come for counseling first. There are things that you are doing that your husband probably has a challenge with. In every marriage, when there is a problem, both parties have their own fault. Maybe one party has a greater fault, but the other party has his or her own small fault. So you come, let us resolve your own small fault, so that you will have the capacity to begin to change. When your husband starts to see you changing, your husband is going to want to change also. I promise you, it's happened so many times. When Jesus Christ said in that part in Matthew, he says, why beholdest thou a mote in thy brother's eye, or a speck in thy brother's eye, when there is a whole beam in your own eye? Remove the beam in your eye before you remove the speck in your brother's eye. That's what I'm saying. Come for counseling first. Let's solve you. When we have sorted you, then we will sort your husband. Okay? All right. Great, great, great. Take it all in. All right. Some research says spouses fats prolong life. Those researches are not true. I can tell you that for free. All right. Someone says, please, sir, how can one spouse manage snoring as it makes him sleep in the couch in the living room? Says he can't sleep. Is there an exercise or medication to help stop or reduce snoring? Yes, you can actually reduce snoring. You need to see a medical practitioner. So please go to your GP and complain about the snoring that you are having, and they will tell you what it is they will do. They will check first. They'll be able to check your sinuses and everything, and ensure that first of all it's not in a particular way that will distort, that will make you snore. And then they can also decide to run some tests on you, and they are the ones who will tell you what to do. But whether snoring can be managed, yes, it can be managed. It may not be stopped, but it can be managed. But first, see your physician, okay, to handle that. Okay, so let's move on with our questions. I hope we're doing very well. Yeah, we're going very well. We're almost coming to the end. It's just supposed to be 1 hour, 30 minutes, but this is my promise to you. This group, the WhatsApp group, will be left open for you to, if there's any question that you have that has not yet been answered, you are going to be allowed to put it in that group. We'll leave that group open for about a day or so that you can put all the questions and I will answer them in the group. Okay, I'll answer them with voice notes in the group. So don't be too apprehensive that we're wrapping up, but it was just supposed to be for 1 hour, 30 minutes, and then we'll shut down. I didn't know we have so many questions, but thank you for the questions. They're doing well. Okay, let's see. Someone says, okay, how do you deal with a spouse that is not financially prudent? If he gets money today, he blows it up until the last. I have been trying to talk to him about budgeting and saving, but he refuses and he says he doesn't budget. Thank you. All right, so your spouse definitely has a lack of knowledge on financial management, and what he needs is financial management. One of the things you can do is to get him to do that course with you, how to make a million for your family. I talked about that course before. It's on financial management. Just tell him, look, can we watch this together? I promise you, he can't watch that course. It's a 2-module course, and I took the course personally. So he can't watch that course and not want to now start adjusting himself financially. Okay, I tell you that for free. So get that course and it will help him. Okay, so let us move on. Um, Okay. Please, sir, since I complained to my husband about being too close to the opposite sex, we have been having issues. Okay, so the question is, how did you complain to him? Did you confront him? Was there a battle of words? But there's nothing wrong with you telling your husband that he's too close to the opposite sex if he actually is, because that is an inroad to infidelity. Okay, so it is important that your husband understands that that is a danger that he's starting on. But I think the problem will be with how you tell him. So you want to take our class on communication, improving communication in marriage, to be able to pass the same information to him in a way that he will be able to take it and understand you and focus on the information instead of focusing on the way you said it. This is, I mean, I'm just saying this based on what you have said. I don't know the details, but if there's more to this, please come in, sit down, let's have a session and discuss it. Okay. Um, My husband has not initiated sex for more than 2 years. Whoa, whoa, whoa. For more than 2 years. Sometimes he will tell me he's not in the mood and that I should masturbate even if he isn't available. My sex drive is gradually declining. We mostly have sex 3 to 4 times a month. I've asked him if he's sexually satisfied, but he says there's nothing special. I try my best so long as it doesn't compromise God's standard for the marriage bed. I feel he has some undisclosed sexual fantasies. Okay, please make sure you come for that course. That's my answer to your question. The woman who sent this question, please come for that course and invite him to come also for that course. Okay, both of you should be in that course. I'm going to be talking to you about something close to this. Okay, and then you'll be getting what it is that you want, and you'll get out from him what it is that you need to get out from him. Okay, all right, let's move on. Who should be the teaching priest and how should they teach? Word, action, both. Yeah, I think you've answered all the questions. The teaching priest should teach in words and in action. And the teaching priest is both the man and the woman. However, the chief priest of the house, if that's what you're asking for, the chief priest of the house is the husband. The husband is the chief priest of every home. And every husband that is listening to me, please take that role very seriously. I take that role extremely seriously. I ensure that the spiritual covering in my house is taken by me. I take responsibility, I take spiritual responsibility over my house, and every man should. That is your job. Ensure that your house is spiritually sound, is the job of the man. Okay, so straight question. All right. What does one do when the husband doesn't want a third party, a counselor in their marital problems? Yes, most people, because of what they heard about counselors, feel that counselors because of course these things have come from unprofessional counselors. So they've given we the professional counselors a bad name. And so people just run away from counseling. And sometimes it's not about a bad name. People are just uncomfortable, trying to say things that have happened to them um, um, to somebody else. In fact, most people who come to me, you'll see that either the wife was the one who pulled the husband to come, or the husband was the one who pulled the wife to come. And initially, when we start the session, you see that stiffness in that person. However, as we go on with the session, you will notice that the person starts relaxing. The person starts relaxing, and then at the end of the day, the person opens up. So one thing I will say to you is to tell your husband. Okay, in case it's a wife that is asking this, tell your husband that you need some counseling and you need him to come along with you to help and support you in the counseling. Okay, and when he comes along with you, then you'll be able to get all you need to get to him. Okay, all right. So we have some more questions. I'm going to continue this. I will continue till I've just told myself not to be tired. I'm going to continue till 10 o'clock. Okay, so I give us another almost 30 minutes of the Q&A. Is that okay? Have I done well? Okay, so I'll stay here for another 30 minutes so that we can continue as much as it's happening. And that's because I can see so many of you asking so many questions. Okay, but I need to take a water break so that I can rest my voice, and then we will continue immediately after this interlude. Okay, so please don't go anywhere. Let's take this interlude and I'll continue immediately after that.
Hello, family. We're
Pastor Jeremiah
and Mrs. Emily Serangonomo. Last year, we found ourselves in a place where we were functional and we needed a little more, spice in our marriage. And then we came across this course through TIP. And so when the course was recommended, it piqued my interest because we were looking for new ways to enhance our marriage. And so this was the perfect course or the perfect solution to our current situation then. One of the things that I truly appreciate about renewing the marriage bed is that you will learn practical strategies that you can almost immediately implement. I, for one, was able to articulate some of the hindrances or some of the things that were a barrier and a challenge for me. And that improved our relationship. It deepened our connection and our intimacy as well.
Sex is a private thing, yes. However, a lot of people were not taught in premarital counseling how to handle it in marriage. And if you don't handle it well, it can be very, very frustrating. So I invite you to come for the course, Renewing the Marriage Bed, that is holding from the 25th to the 26th of April 2025, where I will be teaching you about sex in marriage and all its benefits and how you can also make it great in your marriage. My name is Kunle Ologe, Marriage Counsellor and founder of the Marriage Seal Academy.
And so we highly recommend this course. Whether you're struggling with something or you are looking to enhance your marriage, this is the answer. Please register. And in Coach Kunle's famous words, bliss and joy.
All right, we are back. And I hope that you have been enjoying yourself so far. I hope that I've been able to answer many of your questions. And I just extended this to 10 o'clock. So let's go on with the questions and let's see how much of it we can take. Okay, so this question says, how do I see my husband as the chief priest of the house? I find it difficult to submit and it's causing issues in my marriage. Thank you so much, Ma, for bringing this up. When you find it difficult to submit, sometimes it's because the husband has not lived up to expectations. Sometimes it's because your expectations are a little bit too high. Sometimes it's because of your orientation growing up. For some people who were first girls and first child, sometimes you are raised to be like a king also. So it's difficult for you to submit to another king. With all this, what you need to do is to actually come sit down in counseling so that we can find out what exactly the reason is why you are not submitting and how you can actually submit to your husband. Okay, so for this question, what you need is counseling. All right, so let's see, is there any other question? Let's continue with our questions. Can seasons of life stop the teaching priest from discharging his duties? Of course, seasons of life can, but it shouldn't. Did you hear what I just said? Seasons of life can stop anything that is good, but it shouldn't stop. So you must fight it. If you have seasons of life, for instance, are you going to say because of your seasons of life, then you now feel that you are now so tired and then you resign from your job because of your seasons of life? Will you do that? You won't do that. You won't resign until it's your time, your age to resign. But there are times, right? If you can hear me, I'm sure there are times that you have felt like resigning from your job, but you didn't resign. So it means that you can actually overcome those seasons of life. So when it comes to the priest, you cannot stop discharging your duties because of the season of life. As a helpmeet, am I permitted to take on the duty of the teaching priest? Wow, there are so many questions about this teaching priest. Is it the same person asking these questions? Okay, so you are a helpmate. If your husband is not there, you should step in. I hope I've answered your question, because you are working together as a team. So, for instance, your husband has traveled, of course, step in as the teaching priest in that period. Okay, so that's a simple answer to your question. What are the inherent dangers that accompany a teaching priest that is silent or most times speaks abstractly? Okay, the person who is asking this question, please come for counseling. I see that you are having a lot of issues around this teaching priest. So I think it's not just a one-off answer you need. You actually need to sit down. Let me understand what is happening in your home so that we can sort it out, because there are so many questions on teaching priest. I mean, I can answer all the questions, but obviously the way it's going, there's a deeper problem, and we need to solve that deeper problem so that we don't allow it to mess up your marriage. Okay, so for the person who asked this question, please book for a counseling session. Let us have that. Number 43, how do I handle a situation whereby my husband is not being transparent? He leads me on to assume and doesn't bother to correct my assumption. He says no need to have a conversation since I have concluded. Okay, so if it's getting to a point that he's saying no need to have a conversation since you have concluded, then perhaps there is something much more that is happening in the marriage. Perhaps you are actually not communicating well with him and he is backing out and shutting down. And that's a real thing. Shutting down is a real thing in marriage. And spouses actually shut down on each other. Sometimes it's because of your way of communication. And so your spouse just keeps quiet and refuses to talk. Now, I'm not saying that it is right for him to keep quiet and refuse to talk. However, it is very, very possible that you have pushed him or her to do this. So let's ensure that we are a little bit more careful in how we do our communication. So for this particular piece, let's see what the problem is when you come and sit down in counseling. Very, very important. Okay, I think I saw a question up there. Did I see it? Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so how do I not my how do I not mother my husband and let him take charge, especially as he's laid back? Okay, so that's you talking about bailing out your husband. So you are wondering, how do I ensure that I don't bail out my husband? This is a very, very good question. Now, a lot of times, and in case you are wondering what bailing out of a husband is, bailing out of a husband means when you are doing things for your husband that he's supposed to do himself. So that way you are not allowing him to be the man in the house like he's supposed to be. Now, when that actually happens, you'll find out that the husband will, sit back and not do what he's supposed to do. And at the end of the day, the woman just gets frustrated because the woman keeps doing what she's supposed to do. So one of the things you need to do is you need to start stepping back. Those things that you have been doing that he's supposed to do, step back and let him do it. Yes, at the beginning it may be painful, some things may suffer, but when he sees, because every man can actually rise up to the occasion. When he sees that the thing has now fallen to his doorstep, he will actually rise up to the occasion. Okay, so what you need to do is step back gradually. I said gradually, not abruptly. Step back gradually so that it doesn't disrupt, especially the children. It doesn't disrupt your entire um, um, equilibrium in the marriage. Okay, what do I do as a wife if my husband finds every reason to nag, avoids conversations as a couple, and spends every penny he makes till the last kobo and then starts from a scratch? Madam, Mrs. Antonia, your marriage has a big problem. You have spoken about two of the major issues of marriage, and that's communication and finance. You didn't speak about sex, so I don't know if the sex is also challenged. But with this, what you need to do is that you need to come for counseling with your husband. If your husband refuses to come, please come on your own. All right? Good. I'm almost at the verge of using threats to push my husband to come out of comfort zone. How do I help him see more than he dreams of? He is much a dreamer than an action taker. Okay, so one of the things that you can do, remember you are the helpmeet of your husband. One of the things that you can do, it's possible that you are the one who is supposed to actually help him actualize the dreams. Let me give you an example. So if your wife has told you before that, you know what, I want to own an airline, and then you've waited for him to make moves, he's not making moves, nothing stops you from going to find out how much a plane costs, how much you pay to park in a hangar, how much, and put it at his doorstep. That way, he's pushed to do what it is that he needs to do because you've gotten some information. You've even set up meetings for him. Are you getting me? So, one of the things you always want to do is to step in. When you see that your husband or your wife, as the case may be, whoever it is that is hearing this, when you see that your spouse is dreaming and not actualizing, then maybe your role is to be there to help him to actualize. Okay, I hope I have answered that question. Okay, waiting for your next questions. Okay, in the comment section, waiting for your next questions. And while we wait for this question, I want to again talk to you about this course that is going to happen on the 25th and the 26th of this month. This course is a very, very important course. You see, my voice has gone down. So please listen to me, follow me, and come closer. This course is actually a very, very important course in your marriage. It is titled Renewing the Marriage Bed. In Renewing the Marriage Bed, we're going to talk for 2 days on sex. And here are some of the things you are going to learn. Follow me. I'm going to tell you 10 things you will learn from this course. Number one is that you will learn how to enhance sexual pleasure. You will learn how to enhance sexual pleasure. So, sex is supposed to be pleasurable. It's supposed to be a good thing. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something you enjoy. In fact, sex, actually, they will tell you that sex is the human activity that gives you the highest level of dopamine. And dopamine is the feel-good hormone. So it raises your dopamine levels when you have sex. So we will be teaching you how to enhance your sexual pleasure. The second thing we'll be teaching you is how to help your spouse to satisfy your sexual needs. Everybody has sexual needs. For some of you, you don't know how to tell your spouse that this is my sexual need and it's not being satisfied. So you've been married 10 years. Your husband has never satisfied your sexual needs. Your wife has never satisfied your sexual needs. Or even if they have, they've just done it sparingly. Number three, we'll teach you how to understand your spouse's sexual needs. So that's the other way around. Now, how do you now understand what your spouse needs sexually? We will be teaching you that. Just in case your spouse has been telling you, oh, you don't satisfy me, I don't feel fulfilled in bed, we will teach you how to get to that point. The next thing is that we will teach you how to make sexual conversations natural. Sexual conversations can be awkward in a marriage. It can make you feel that, I don't know how to say these things. We will help you. And please don't run away from this sex topic because all of us have sex. As long as you're married here, right? We all have sex. So, I mean, there are people who pretend when they start hearing sex, they kind of say, no, this is not for me. All of us like it. All of us want it. All of us need it. So please, come to a point where you want to actually learn about it and not run away from it. We'll teach you how to overcome past trauma that affects sex in marriage. So for some of you, something happened to you when you were growing up. You don't want to talk about it. You don't like to talk about it. Maybe you were molested. Maybe you had something terrible that happened to you, but you can't talk about it. We will teach you how to overcome that trauma. We're going to teach you how to overcome sexual boredom. Yeah. Sex has been boring. You've been tired, the same thing over and over, the same style, the same way, and you just get tired of it. We will teach you how to overcome it. We will teach you how to prevent infidelity. Yes, sex is one of the things that causes infidelity in marriage. And please don't get me wrong, there's no excuse for infidelity. So don't go and say, well, because I'm not having sex, that's why I was unfaithful. You are wrong. Whether you have a reason for it or not, you are wrong. Infidelity is wrong, it is wrong. However, why don't we prevent it all at once? So we'll be teaching you how to prevent it. Number 8, we'll be teaching you how to break sexual myths. There's some things that you have heard about sex that is not true. We will help you and tell you the truth. Number 9, we'll tell you how to get the attention of your spouse. For some of you, you have said, well, my spouse doesn't seem to look at me anymore. My wife doesn't even think about me anymore. My husband doesn't even look at me. I can stand naked in front of him. He doesn't look at me. We'll tell you why that is so, and we'll tell you what to do. Then we'll tell you how to deal with mismatched libido. Yes, you may have mismatched libido, which means you are more sexually active than your spouse, or your spouse is more sexually active than you. We will teach you how to balance it, because there's a way you can balance it so that it's not too on one side, so that both of you can satisfy each other. These and many more are the things we're going to teach you in this course. All of this for just 20,000 naira. Did you hear what I said? All of this for just 20,000 naira. Please. We've made it, it's almost free. I mean, this course, you should be paying 100,000 naira for it minimum. That's the truth. And I mean, you can find out to sit down with me to discuss these things. One, you pay me 100,000 naira. But we want every couple to have a healthy sexual life, because if you have a healthy sexual life, then the devil can't come in through that way. The devil can actually infiltrate your marriage and make you feel upset and make you feel angry with your spouse because of sex. We want to stop that and help you to have a fulfilling sex life so that you are excited in your marriage when it comes to sex. And that is why you must register for this course. So the registration details are there on the screen, and we're going to put it also in that group. Okay, so pick it and register today. I mean now. Register right now as we're speaking, so that you won't have an excuse not to attend that course, because it will pain you if you miss that course. That course holds only once a year, and you're going to be able to ask all your questions on sex there. You will also see other people asking their questions, and it might lead to you knowing more about sex when it comes to marriage. So please ensure you register for that course. Again, like I said, the details will be shared. It's going to hold on the 25th and the 26th of this month of April. So ensure you are there. Every day to hold at 8 p.m. Nigerian time. And if you miss it for any reason, there will be a replay for those of you who have registered, so that you can catch that course. Okay? So that's the first thing that I need to tell you. The second thing I need to tell you is that we have 2 books that are coming out. And please listen to me. Oh my God, you're going to like what you're going to hear. This first book that is on the screen right now is titled Marriage Stories. I think there are about 7 to 10 stories in that book on marriage. So it's an entertainment book. Yes, you will read it and you'll be entertained. You will laugh, you will enjoy it, you will feel mushy, you will really love the book. But at the same time, you will learn things about marriage in every story that is in that book. I promise you, I am a brilliant storyteller, and it's not because I'm saying it. You can read the book and know. Okay, so this book is coming out in May, and we'll be telling you in a minute how to get it at a discounted price. The second book that is coming out is even more important. It is titled What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You. Now, What Your Spouse Is Not Telling You is a book on all my teachings from 13 years ago on communication in marriage. It will teach you everything you need to know about communication, so you will know how to communicate with your husband and your wife without an issue. So you want to get this book. This book is too important to you. And like the name implies, if you feel your spouse is not really opening up to you, that book will tell you how to make your spouse open up to you. And these two books will be coming together in a flash sale. A flash sale means a particular day when the bid will be open for you to actually pay ahead for the book. So you pay ahead for the book and then you get a 25% discount. Now, each of these books is actually 8,000 naira, but you will be buying each of them for 6,000 naira if you are part of the flash sale. So they're going to send the link for you to join the flash sale group. Okay, it's a waiting group, and it's only on that group that we're going to do the flash sale on that. So you need to be in the group to be able to catch the flash sale, know how you make your payment, and then be waiting for the launch. The book itself is going to launch on the 23rd of May. That's my birthday. Yeah. So the book will launch on the 23rd of May, but the flash sale will be before that. The flash sale will be on the 5th of May. So you get to pay before the book comes out. You pay less. That's 4,000 less. So instead of paying 16,000 for both books, you will pay just 12,000. That's a whole 4,000. But everybody after that will pay the normal price once the book launches. So you want to catch that flash sale, and we'll be sharing the details in the group. So I hope you've gotten all of these details, and let's go back to our last questions for the day. Okay, let's go back to our last questions for the day. So let's see what question is standing out. I recently bought a sex toy because sex with my husband has become like ancient history. I am constantly looking for validation and comfort outside my home. At this point, is the sex toy a sin? So using a sex toy is almost the same thing as masturbation. And like I explained before, when you are using that sex toy, what are you thinking of? Or who are you thinking of? And that's where the problem is. That's what makes it a sin, actually. So if you are fantasizing about another man you have seen, another video you have seen, and maybe you watch porn or something, if you are fantasizing about that, you're already committing a sin. Because in your head, you're actually having sex with that person. And that's what makes that sex toy a sin. Okay? So instead of using the sex toy because your husband is not available, come for the course. We will teach you how to make your husband available. And yes, he can be available. You just don't know how. So ensure you come for that course and you will get all that detail. Okay. Somebody says, my husband doesn't like communicating when we have issues. He would rather sweep them under the carpet. And when I try to talk to him calmly, he'll be angry that I'm bringing up the issues again. So that's his coping method. It's called a coping method. So your husband is running away from conversations because he doesn't want to confront those conversations. So he would rather just run away from them, hoping that it will blow over. Unfortunately, when you sweep things under the carpet, they don't blow over. They remain under the carpet. And when that carpet is raised, they will come out. That's the problem. So he doesn't know that you need to converse. So one of the things you need to ask yourself is, when I bring up these issues, how do I bring them up? So you need to ask yourself honestly, do I bring them up in a way that agitates him? If that's the case, then watch how you bring it up. But if it is that no matter how you bring it up, he gets agitated and angry, then it means that you need to come and sit down with me in counseling. Let us understand what is really happening with your husband. Is this how he has always been? Is this what happened within the marriage? So we'll be able to narrow down what the issue is. Every time I say come for counseling, is because I need us to discuss the issues in details. And you'll see that my counseling sessions are 1 hour, 30 minutes. That's enough time for us to discuss. So we want to discuss in details to find out what exactly is causing this. It may be background. Maybe that's how he has always done it. That's how he saw it being done. So we need to narrow down on what it is and then find a solution for it. I hope I answered your question. Okay, so Judith says, my husband, a Christian, believes in rituals using special perfumes, special soap, etc. I was raised in a word-based church. I have refused to conform, and that's a big problem now. I need help. Give him greater light. So if you are raised in a word-based church, then give him greater light. When you are having your devotions, let the light that you have in you come out from your mouth. So when you're having your devotion, your family devotions, and maybe he's leading and he has talked and he has asked you to say something, what comes out of your mouth at that point is what is going to help. Then, of course, continue to pray for him so that he can see greater light. So the light he has, well, I don't know what light he has, but he needs to see the greater light. Okay, so those two things, pray for him, and then every time you have the opportunity, speak the right word. That's why you yourself need to know the word. So you can't tell somebody, you can't condemn what somebody is doing if you do not know the right thing to do. Okay, I hope that I answered your question. And I'm going to answer just the last few questions, and then we'll stop for today. We'll continue the rest in the group. As women, there is pressure to always look put together. How can a man also be reasonable with expectation when it comes to the looks as you get older? Ma, I want to be very honest with you. And that's why you need to come for that course. A man is moved by what he sees. As you get older, continue to see how you can make yourself look nice. It doesn't mean that when you get older, that you cannot now put yourself together. You're talking about putting yourself together. So, yes, you will have wrinkles, but you can have beautiful wrinkles. You've not seen 90-year-old women looking very, very lovely, dressing well, um, spraying themselves well, looking classy. So, you can actually still look attractive to your husband even as you age. The one that is a challenge is when you think that because you are aging, so you shouldn't take care of yourself again. No, you will take care of yourself for the rest of your life. And that's one reason I say again, because I'm going to be talking about that, how you should take care of your body and your what you wear and what you spray. I'm going to be talking about that in the course Renewing Your Marriage Bed. Okay, good. So let's move on. Okay, so Judy says this webinar has helped me onboarding. Thank you, coach. Oh, that's great. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you, Judith. Thank you for onboarding, for releasing those things. Someone says, I need the books. Oh, yes. So join the flash sale group. That's the link there. I'm sure you can't click it here, but we will share it in the WhatsApp group and you'll be able to click it. Everybody should join the group, okay, and catch the flash sale. You will not regret those books, I promise you. Some of you follow me on Facebook, and I'm sure you saw my story, the story I told about how I met my wife and how I proposed and how we got married. Guess what? That story is in that book, the complete one. What I gave you on Facebook, I gave you 21 days, and I gave it to you in 21 days. I broke it into 21 days. The book has the comprehensive, those ones I gave you were just summaries. The book has the comprehensive story. Okay, that's one of the stories that is in the book. So please make sure you get that book. Okay, any other question? Wow, so many questions still coming. How can a woman avoid silent treatment from the husband? It can linger for weeks and also comes with withholding finances until he feels the punishment is over. The children are not left out. So your husband needs to be changed. He needs mentorship on how he should actually handle communication. Again, it's like what I told the other people who asked. You need to know how to get your husband a mentor. Okay, so please come and sit. That's Shea Mary. Please come and sit in counseling, and we will do that. Okay, so this is where I would need to stop. I know that I've given you much more than I promised, and I always do that. So when I tell you to come for something, know that you are going to get the best. I mean, this was free, completely free. You didn't pay a dime for it, and you got this. Then imagine the one that you now pay for. So that is why you must come for this course, Renewing the Marriage Bed. Ensure you don't miss it. All the details will be shared on the group. Details of how to get all my books will be shared on the group. Details on how to get the new books will be shared on the group. Everything will be shared on the group. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like, click the notification button, and you will be the happier for it. Thank you very much, everybody. My name is Kunle Ologe. I'm a marriage counselor. I'm the founder of the Marriage Seal Academy, and we hope to see you again very soon. Of course, we are still in the group, like I promised. Drop your questions in the group if they have not been answered here. I will answer them in the group between today and tomorrow. So don't rush out of the group. Don't worry, I'll still answer questions, and we will give you direction on how to get all the freebies. Somebody is asking, how do I come for counseling? Just reach out to the number that is on your screen. That number that is scrolling on your screen, just send a WhatsApp chat to any one of them, and they will give you all the details on how to get a counseling session. God bless you all. It's been nice speaking to you, and it is good night for me. We'll continue the rest in the group. God bless you. Please enjoy.